What is up, everybody? Welcome to 21 Generals, Episode 2. I'm your host, Delthius, and joining me tonight, I've got AV Ultima. What's going on, man? Let me unmute you. Let's try that again. What's up, dude?
Oh, hey there. Good to hear your voice.
Let me send you this so you can kind of follow along what we're doing. Basically, in the nutshell, what's going on here is kind of like a board game style tournament. For those of you just joining us or not super familiar with the rules, there's players that are representing three factions. We've got like a world map via Pocket World. I guess I should go ahead and switch over to my browser capture for that. Here we go. So we can show you this map. So this is a representation of the factions that are the territories that each of the factions control. Over here on the side, we play matches of tooth and tail. We gain points or lose points based on the results of that. And we're still in the middle of week 1. Here's where we're at so far. A little bit of a recap from episode 1. Match 1 was a bye, so the red team automatically won that. Araloo knocked out James, winning a hefty amount of victory points for that one. We had the match number 10, the free-for-all, which this guy ended up winning, and then the extra free-for-all between all the leaders, Jacoby, James, and Mishi, where Jacoby ended up gaining an extra tile. So right now, red team is in a good spot. However, we're still in the throes of week 1. We're going to get to several of these matches tonight, and then Big Pimpintosh, a.k.a. Woody Pun 7, is going to finish it up on Sunday, and I was talking to the gentleman, maybe I can help get to some of the matches that don't go casted there, but, you know, still a little bit preliminary, but, I mean, there's a lot of content coming out rapid fire for this, so we might even need a little more help from some additional Tooth and Tail streamers. I think the gentleman will be reaching out to people, see if anyone's interested. So blam. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start off with Bluecoon versus QQ tonight, which is match 0 on the spreadsheet. It was supposed to be a free-for-all, but a couple of the players couldn't make it this week due to personal reasons. So we've got Blue versus QQ, and both these players are, neither of these players, I should say, are mercenaries. Is that correct? Doesn't look like it. I'd have to check the things, but whoever wins this best of 3 gets a neutral tile, which is huge. They're both mercs. Okay, so why does it say on the spreadsheet then minister and general?
I hope you're not asking me.
Oh no, I'm asking I'm asking the gentleman. But regardless, man, all I need you tonight for AV Ultima is to help me cast things. So, are you ready to roll into match 0, game number 1?
Blue versus QQ?
Yes, sir.
Let's do it.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go. All right, in the left, representing the Legion, we've got the mercenary QQ, and his opponent up top representing the Royal Knights, the mercenary Bluecoon. Neither are mercs. Yeah, I see that now. It makes sense because this is the mercenary free-for-all that turned into a 1v1, but on the spreadsheet, maybe it's just an error, but it looks like they're roles that are related to the actual factions. But anyways, we got a Fox Turret Balloon Ferret going on. That seems like a lot of fun here.
Yeah, I'm seeing a huge departure from when we casted that tournament a few weeks ago. I don't know how much you know about the player QQ. Is this something that he tends to run, or is this just maybe something popular that's come out of the new update?
You know, what's crazy is I think the answer is neither.
Oh?
Like, it's hard for me to tell yet what exactly is going on after this update, because I've seen such a wide variety in units. It's hard for me to really nail down the meta. Like, neither one of us are super active players, you know? So it's like, what exactly is going on here? I've seen such a wide variety, it's really hard to say at this point, which, you know, I think was kind of the design point of Tooth and Tail to begin with, right? Like, ideally, you know, lots of different compositions are viable. But one thing that is kind of weird is I think the word on the street is that toads aren't that strong now after the nerf from the patch. So it is kind of weird to me that both players have the toads. And I think that might be because lizards are a bit stronger now, so maybe it's just like a little bit of a counter against the lizards, but neither player even has those, you know?
So it seems like we're in a situation where players, the lizard's popular, but if players runs toads, that pretty much nullifies the lizard, so it just becomes a game of, well, I'll just run toads.
Exactly.
And no one's going to run lizards, which is kind of a shame. We've seen that in the past, and it makes things a bit dull, but we'll see how it develops more as the patch is experimented with.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because the toads got a nerf, right? Which obviously, I mean, since day one, toads have been like the counter to lizards, but modern moles are actually pretty strong against lizards too, and they got a little bit of a nerf as well, as did chameleons. So it's like the lizard itself is kind of getting stronger vicariously because the things that are historically good against it now are a bit weaker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this game so far, both players have been trying to eco up, get up into a tier 2. And we're going to have Ferret versus Cam coming up. And, these Ferrets want to ideally get some value outside, but hold that thought. This looks like it's going to be good for Blue Coon here. Yeah, QQ's got to retreat immediately. Takes a lot of damage.
Yeah, luckily he has those turrets on the front end. Otherwise, Blue might decide to go in. It's interesting seeing the ferrets. In that entire tournament that we casted earlier, I don't think we saw a ferret game, or in the very least, we didn't see the ferrets come out. And that might be because ferrets are fun. It requires a good bit of micro, and it's a great deal of harass. But I think what I've seen is that the micro it takes to use the ferrets to full effectiveness, I think, takes away from other parts of your game. Which
you can start floating money and that sort of thing. And another interesting point with the turrets, because I have seen turrets a lot lately, and I think that's because the moles got that nerf, which are just so good against the turrets. So if people aren't running moles as often, maybe you can get away with this like turret ferret strategy. But here we go, Blue Coon's moving in with a lot of forces.
Move in past the turret fire was an interesting strat. Also sort of pinning himself between the mill and the turrets while the army's in the middle sort of gave him a huge disadvantage, which still, he did a good bit of damage, but just, I don't think he took out a ferret that entire fight. Yeah,
I'm surprised how well that went for QQ, man. Those defensive structures, got so much work done that fight. 3 turrets and a balloon, you need to think twice before attacking into that, but Blue Coon trying to punish that counter move out by QQ. Does pick up a ferret, which is nice, but... Did you see if Blue Coon got any farms off that, or maybe QQ just hadn't built those additional farms yet?
I don't believe he did. Let me see, checking the graph.
That's a good idea.
I think he might have. He lost 1 farm because it dips down 1.
Oh yeah, yep. I see what you're talking about. Okay, this is kind of interesting.
It seems like a good opportunity to attack from the high ground here. But then maybe QQ is going for the counter.
Oh man,
he's not fully aware, a bit out of position.
This is risky though. Like he's pretty committed. Okay, QQ's not pouncing just yet. Now he's moving over. It's a shame Blue Coon doesn't have any defense, he secured this high ground so nicely. A balloon would have been phenomenal here. Alright, we got the ferret poke coming down.
That was nice, sort of seeing the cams on the front lines there. He was hoping that he'd maybe pull up the ferrets a bit more so he could potentially get a pick off. But QQ not pulling in too far. Now adding on a few balloons to the front lines here, looking to push. And now Blue Coon's coming in to try to take out some of these structures as he doesn't want him to build up pretty defensive. And wow, oddly the fight's going pretty equally at the moment until none of the turrets actually, none of the balloons finished, and I don't think any of the turrets were close enough for a fight, but now it's just ferrets against... did Blue die?
Yeah, his commander went down in the middle of that, and that was insane. He just took so much damage after that.
Yeah, there was a huge opportunity even because it was like 3 squirrels and a falcon versus 4 ferrets, and if he was there, he could potentially stop QQ from coming in to destroy his base, but he ended up dying.
Yeah, that was super rough. Yeah, I'm really surprised how well this defense has been working out for QQ this game. I mean, it was nice for Blue Coon even after his commander went down. Like, his units just got that building balloon, which is cool, like an extra 120 food. But you know, QQ's doing great. He's got 4 ferrets up. Where once you get the 4, those barrages become a lot more reliable. You know, it's a little bit easy to miss with 2 shots, but 4 shots, I mean, you're just the probabilities starting to get in your favor here.
Coon's going in for another attack here against the impeccable defensive Q. This time, a bunch of ferrets going down, but they're staying alive. Now 3 out of 4 down, but with higher firepower. Pretty much only the turret's doing the most damage at the moment. Losing his last tier 2. I think he's going to have to back up at this point.
Blue Coon's commander goes down again, and like you're saying, like that actually went a lot better for Blue Coon that time around, but you know, if he didn't lose his commander, that could have been way better. He could have probably kept some of those tier 2 alive. You know, he could have focus fired a little better in that engagement. So a little bit of misplay here from Blue Coon in these past 2 engagements. Losing that commander always hurts, but it's hard, man. It's easier said than done, especially when you have all this defense up.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things going on. A lot of things to take a look at. You know, it's interesting. Typically, we see ferrets take a more aggressive action, taking out, you know, units here and there or warrens in the front lines, but we're sort of seeing them take a back seat and sitting behind defenses, and that's, I think, proven to be really good defensively for QQ.
Oh yeah, minus victory points for not following color.
Are they supposed to be keeping the color?
Yeah, they should be, ideally, because Blue Coon's actually representing the red team and QQ's representing the green team. I didn't even notice that. That's hilarious. All right, this is looking better. Once these chameleons start compounding on the front lines, you know. Once you get 4 chameleons out, it's insane. They can tank and soak so much damage.
Yeah, it was a beautiful move. He pulled while he kept his DPS units in the back. He pulled his cams into the middle, and they did a ton of damage to both the ferrets and the squirrels that were there.
Really, this is becoming a story of tempo to me. I'd see this a lot in like Zerg vs. Zerg and StarCraft 2. You know, if you can be the guy who's bringing the pain to your opponent's base, it's always so much better. And I think Blue Coon's done a really good job with tempo of this game. Like, the engagements are always on QQ's side of the map, you know? And why that's so important is, like, imagine we trade armies and I've got a few units left over. If I'm at your base, then now those few units left over start killing pigs, start killing warrens. You know what I mean? It's a big deal.
That's a great point, because while this fight is happening here, I got some cams coming. Oh, really, the cams just make a huge difference here. Now tanking all the turrets that are essentially doing nothing. And I think QQ's probably going to GG. But I think sort of what we saw is that QQ was holding back with great defense.
Yeah.
But when he would hold and trade armies, he wouldn't be able to mount a surmountable counterattack against that, because he had a lot of money into the turrets.
Right.
And into the defenses, which can't counterattack, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly. So by building all of that defense, like, he took some really good fights, especially early on, like we can see on the army graph here. But you know, there's no you're kind of giving your opponent the tempo nonstop. Like, they're gonna be attacking you, you know. And I think maybe the move is, oh man, here's the move, AV. You build all that defense, right? You win the first big fight, then you sell off all the defense, like build a whole bunch of mole warrens with that money, you know, and then like go move out. I think that's the way you can kind of use the defense, but then regain some momentum. But anyways, let me update this scoreboard here. So it's a victory for Blue Coon, and this is a best of 3. Are you ready to go into match number 2?
I am on 2.
Let's do it. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, spawning in the bottom, not representing the red team, we've got QQ. And up top, not representing the blue team, we've got Blue Coon. So let me check again. So both these players are mercenaries, which means that week by week they can represent different factions. They're kind of like 4 higher. And this time around, Blue Coon's actually representing the Legion, which is the red team, and QQ is representing the green team, which is the Penal Squad. So keep that in mind, viewers. It is a little bit awkward that they're not playing the commander of color, but it is okay. So a little bit of a swap up on the decks this time around from QQ, but I think Blue's deck is kind of the same.
Yeah, it looks like Q's sort of forgone the Toads, assuming that Blue's not going for any type of lizard play here. And adding on those, well, actually heavy tier 2. I think he's going to be ready for anything in this.
See, they're not mercs. See, that's what I said originally, and then you guys told me they were mercs.
All right, what's the story here? Are they mercs or not mercs?
They are not mercs, yeah. Yeah, gentlemen confused me. I blame the gentleman. So yeah, these guys are not mercs. Blue Coon is the minister for the red team, which means he's involved in some of the purchasing decisions, like on hiring the mercenaries and that sort of thing. And QQ is just in a general role for the green team here. That's what I thought. That's what I said originally. No one told you they were mercs. That is wrong, P-Boop. Look at the chat logs. I have it right here. Blam. Not like it matters. Boom. Okay. Sorry for the confusion, guys. All right, we got Skunk coming up from QQ here, and actually double tier 2, which I don't mind because this map is so big and wonky. You know, you might be able to get away with something like that. But as I say that, Blue Coon looks like he wants to get out with some aggression, maybe.
Now, I know we discussed in the past the potential uses of healing in water. I think on such a map like this, that could be something that could come in handy.
Yeah. You know, I'm surprised how little we see players utilize that water healing, man. Like, could you imagine, like, QQ, for example, you know, gets his ferrets, like, in this water here, and then they're just, like, constantly healing out of combat, you know? And just sieging down. Seems good.
Interestingly, we're seeing Toads coming out from Blue. They're going to have a tough time running through the Skunks to get to the Squirrels, but I guess we'll see how he utilizes them. As QQ starts coming in, laying down those smokes on the Squirrels as they just stand there. But nice. The mixture of the... Well, actually, it's hard to tell what's left here. Now it's Cams versus Toads as they sort of explode.
Nice job by Blue Coon on that defense, man. Those Skunks went down very, very quickly.
Yeah.
But QQ is able to run away with both his chameleons. That's definitely nice. Could have been a lot worse. They actually traded army value pretty tit for tat there. And
yeah, it's quite even.
Blue is moving out, trying to grab that gristmill. If this game goes longer, this is actually kind of a really awkward map for QQ here. Well, I guess he can get these 4 bases from like 6 to 3 o'clock, you know? It's not too bad. But that 8 o'clock base like looks like it should belong to QQ, but it'd just be so hard for him to actually get around all the terrain to get over there.
Yeah, this is exactly what Blue needed to do. Yeah, as that defensive position is going to be hard to push out for QQ at this point. Oh, I didn't even notice that base to the 6 o'clock. So okay, so he's not too bad for the moment, but he's gonna have to make that defensive move at some point, or that aggressive move at some point.
Yeah, this is neat. Like, I've never been a guy to not run tier 3. I think it's kind of interesting. It's pretty viable strategy. Like, a lot of people play with deck composition similar to QQ. I think they typically go more like a 3 tier 1 and 3 tier 2 kind of split, you know? For a little extra variety, but you know, Blue Coon can sneak out a wolf, then that can be pretty rough. You know, QQ probably realizes he's not going to scale into the late game super well, but then again, Falcons and Chameleons and Ferrets, you know, those all do well once you start getting up into higher numbers, so we'll see.
You know, it makes sense to a certain extent not to, I guess, run tier 3. As it was said when the game first came out, like most games should only run like 6 to 8 minutes long.
Yeah.
With that, you know, you're not making it tier 3. But occasionally you get maps such as this where one player's clearly got the defensive and mill advantage, and now you're sort of wishing you had maybe 3 or 4 badgers to fall back on to break something, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So QQ is getting his cavalcade of tier 2 up here, a little bit of everything. And meanwhile, Blue Coon's getting that third base up and running, so we got a macro game on our hands. And here comes that ferret harassment.
Yeah, Blue's got to be careful not to go too hard in the farms in this defensive position, putting too much money into that, and then all of a sudden you got a huge tier 2 mixture army coming.
Ooh, that ferret gets wrecked. Get wrecked, nerd, says those cams.
Splattered.
They got blapped upon. You know, I think he killed a farm. Killed a farm and maybe a tier 1 or something. But that always hurts. That always feels bad, man. Here's the third base from QQ coming up. And even a fourth. That's kind of interesting. You don't typically see this kind of thing. Sometimes that's an indication of like a base race, you know? Just trying to get a bunch of gristmills on the map. Nice scout here, by the way. He's able to see exactly what his opponent's up to, sees he's got a third base half saturated, so that kind of puts you in a position where it's like, do I build a bunch of tier 1 and pull the trigger, or do I try to, you know, start saturating my own third?
You know, there's a potential opportunity for QQ to fly some falcons over this sort of mountain area to that third base that Blue has. I like to see that.
I love that kind of thing. You know, really, Blue could do that as well, and he's got 6 falcons. Like, imagine if Blue like rallied his falcons down at like the 6 o'clock. He wouldn't really get the pigs, but he could, you know, start damaging the warrens. Always risky, but it's a nice little harassment tool when we get into these little bit of a longer style games. Ooh, okay, it looks like he wants to harass with these chameleons, but this might be awkward timing as QQ's moving out.
Oh, this is a perfect opportunity for QQ to potentially go in and do a ton of damage without the cams being there to tank a little bit. Now we're going to see a big fight head in right now. Those exploding. Falcons going down quite quickly. There's still a bunch in the air. Cams now making it to the fight. This might make the difference if there's still enough supplemental units for QQ, but his base goes down in the meantime. Now it's like cams versus cams. But the healing from QQ, keeping his army up much longer before the cams can make a difference for Coon. And now I think it's just a bit of cleanup.
I think we might have match 3 on our hands here, Mr. Ultima.
Looking
All
like
4 chameleons still alive here for QQ, and as you said, you know, that was just unfortunate timing there for Blue Coon as he went out for a little bit of chameleon harassment, not having those units there on the front to help buffer for his army. He just got ran over.
Man, you really hate to see that.
Okay, are you ready for game number 3 here?
I am prepared.
Let's do this. 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh.
All right. Spotting in the bottom, we've got Blue Coon. And his opponent up top, QQ.
I have seen maps like this.
These are alright, so if you're QQ here, well, I was gonna say you're kind of forced into a 1 base play, but he does have this like 9 o'clock he could try to take. That's not the craziest base in the world, but really, you know, really it's gonna be awkward for either players to expand here. Like, Blue Coon could try to go over to the 3 o'clock position, and if he does that effectively, you know, he's set himself up to win in the late game, right? Just taking like all the gristmills on the map. So I don't know, what would you do if you spawned on this crazy map here?
I think your game plan early on immediately needs to change to be a more aggressive. Like if you had a certain type of mid-game to late-game plan going into it, you need to get some Warrens down and then take a mill off in the middle somewhere, so you at least have a launching point to give yourself a chance on the map. But I think choosing to play your normal tooth and tail could puts you into too much of a passive position. So let's see if QQ like gets aggressive and moves onto the map.
And as you were kind of mentioning earlier, like not having the tier 3 is kind of nice in this position, right? Because I agree, I don't think we're going to go into like a late game here. If we do, then it's just whoever gets this 3 o'clock is just gonna win. You just from money. But yeah, neither player has the tier 3. Both players kind of rocking these like early to mid game beat 'em down style decks, and I think that's gonna be good on this map.
And I think you alluded to this. Actually, the map isn't awful for QQ. I guess at face value it does because of all the water, but as you said, the bases are still pretty far away. As Coon's coming in for a potential corner snipe here, and I think he's going to get it.
Yeah, the 2 lizards can easily pick up a corner pig. Very nicely done there by Blue Coon. And is he going to try to pounce on this skunk? It looks like it. If he can knock out all these squirrels... Okay, he's not going to go for the skunk. Yeah, I think that was probably correct, but that was a good trade. So Blue Coon already doing great in this game.
And now, unfortunate QQ not running the toads, so he's going to have a bit of a hard time. I wonder if he'll switch to something that could potentially deal with the lizards a bit more.
Yeah, it's still kind of like the old days where you need the squirrels plus something else, and pigeons don't really count, you know what I mean? So for QQ, just going squirrel pigeon plus a bunch of tier 2 is pretty greedy. Like, you want to go squirrel mole or squirrel lizard or squirrel toad, something like that in general. I think that's kind of always been a theme in Tooth and Tail.
Yeah, I think Blue just caught him here with a better unit matchup here, not having the most appropriate units to combat the lizards, and now Blue Coon sort of rethinking his army comp, QQ rethinking his army comp, rebuilding all his runs on the back lines, and Blue deciding not to go for the kill at the moment.
Yeah, that skunk rush just really got shut down by a lizard comp. And again, you know, you got to have something to help those skunks and squirrels out against lizards. And, you know, if this was a week or 2 ago, QQ probably could have got away with it because lizards just weren't in the meta very, very much. They were still kind of a niche unit because lizard, you can always do that, sell everything and base trade into 30 lizards kind of thing, you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm kind of surprised Blue Coon's not going for the throat here either. He's instead going to try to take this second base and maybe keep things going. But as I say that, here come the lizards.
Let's see if these... Well, in the very least, he's going to get quite a few farms. Even if there is an army trade here, I think it's going to do way too much damage for QQ not to be in quite a bit of trouble.
Yeah.
You know, the Skrunk Rush he was doing, I think in the case where Blue Coon was going for more standard squirrels, would have been a really great opportunity to take the center of the map in a more defensive position, as I was saying. But just Blue having the luck to have the lizards and sort of the forethought to go for them in this situation.
Yeah, I've also snuck quite a few wins off good players that went for skunk openings with lizards. Like Squizzard definitely beats skunk squirrel in the early game, and when lizards are popular again, it's always something you kind of got to consider. So kind of funny for like a minute there, both players were taking these bases without realizing the other one had a base there, but now they know it's up, and Blue wanted to go over there and knock that base out, but QQ comes up. I think he picked up like a Warren, and he decided to go home. And this is rough. I think Blue Coon missed a little bit of a timing window here. You know, QQ's back into the game. Blue Coon's still favored, but you know, it's not out of the question for QQ to come back and win this.
See this interaction here between the squirrels in the water and the lizards in the water, unless Blue decides to just pull them all the way back, and we're going to see it.
I think the squirrels are this... Oh, no, with the chameleons here, these lizards should have it. Oh, absolutely. And Blue Coon is going to win the match, which is actually going to be a straight-up tile for the red team here. Yep, and we can see that updated. Let me show the...
And if I can make a comment on the creativity of mixing the tournament with the world of VSL itself, it sort of gives additional incentive, and sort of it's thematic, and it really brings the world out a bit more.
Yeah. This is another one of the gentleman's creations. It's actually a really cool tournament style. If anybody watching is not exactly familiar with the tournament, all the rules and stuff. Gentleman and I made a explanation video not too long ago, so you could watch that if you'd like. There's also a Word document, but essentially we've got 3 teams. We've got a whole bunch of mercenaries. The teams kind of do this like board game thing week to week, and they're trying to capture territories and gain points. And really, what the gentleman came up with here could have just like straight up been a board game, but the difference is instead of like rolling a dice or something, to determine the outcomes of attacks and whatnot, we're playing games of Tooth and Tail instead. So that would wrap up match number 1. Gentleman in the background updating things nicely. And yeah, let's keep on rolling. Let's get to match number 5. We got to update the scoreboard here. So this is a match. This is the matches have tiers of points that they're worth. Looking at the spreadsheet here, I guess I could pull that up. Bam. So this match here is the 2-pointer, basically. So in an even situation, which this is an even situation. Oh, you might like this one, AV. So all the players have like a type, like Pokemon kind of associated with them. And the types are attack, economy, and defense. And it's like attack beats economy, economy beats defense, and defense beats attack. Kind of like a little tip of the hat to like the different RTS openers,
Gotcha.
So we're looking at on the spreadsheet here, we're going into match number 5. And this is the 2-pointer match, which means that whoever wins is going to gain 2 points. Whoever loses is going to lose 2 points. And there's actually no multiplier because both of these players are the attack type. Their Pokemon type is attack here. So it's just going to be straight up 2 victory points either way. And let's see, we're looking at green versus blue. Oh, wow. So if green wins here, is this starting to come to... I know it's kind of complicated. It took me a little while to figure it out. But you see here on the bar, right? Green just needs 2 points, and this is green versus blue. So if green wins, then green gets another blue territory. But if blue wins here, then blue takes back 2 of these green ticks. Does that make sense?
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So
what determines a player's type, and I guess the matchups in that case?
So that would be the it's either the players pick their own type at the beginning, or they got assigned types, and then the matchups are determined by one of the roles on the squad. It's determined. There's like the leader, and then there's the marshal. So the leaders and the marshal on the team work together to determine who's going to go where. And it's a little bit of like a gambly scenario because you don't necessarily know who and where. Like, there's a bit of mind games involved because it's like everybody's picking at the same time, and you don't really know what your opponent's doing until it's kind of too late.
Like, we'll pick our player, you pick your player, and then we'll see what comes out.
Yeah, so you don't know if you're sending an attacker into a defense, and then you're like, crap, I really hope we don't win. Or it's kind of the same way with hiring the mercs. Like, multiple people throw down meat for the mercs. So if I'm a minister, right, and I want to hire Premium Bo as a mercenary, so I'm going to throw down 3 food to hire Premium Bo, right? And let's say you're a minister as well, and you're like, man, I really want Premium Bo on my team. I'm going to throw down 20 food, and I'm going to make sure I get them. Like, you're going to get them, but you could have thrown down 4 food and won them. Does that make sense?
It does. So it's also fun.
Yeah, so there's a lot of cool little interactions like that behind the scenes with the event here. Leaders pick the types for the teams, and mercenaries get to pick their own types, I believe, right? Okay.
Yes, seems so.
All right. Anyways, guys, match number 5. Let's get into it. Are you ready?
Lego Man versus Kalaru.
Yes, sir. 3, 2, 1, go. All right, spawning in the bottom. Let me see if they have the right team colors. They do. Spawning in the bottom, representing the Penal Squad, we've got Lego Man. And his opponent up top, representing the Royal Knights, Kalaru. And again, this is a really important match here because if Lego Man wins this 2 out of 3, then green is going to yank another territory from blue. And blue's hurting right now, man. Like, blue does not have a whole lot left, so Kalaru really needs to win this. And Lego Man's great, but I kind of put my money on Kalaru. Kalaru's a very top-tier player, and he's really creative, as we can see with his deck composition. I mean, Boar, Fox, Artillery, you gotta love that, man.
Yeah, the decks are significantly more unique during this particular tournament compared to the others. Excited to see how he employs such high-tier things. I wonder if he has like a mindset or a plan going in that he's just going to try to execute step by step, or if some of these are actually reactionary, depending. Or I guess in the case of Tooth and Tail, both.
Yeah, and another thing too is both players, you know, kind of skimping on their tier 1 here to fit some of these other more exciting units into their compositions. Just squirrels and pigeons for both sides, and pretty greedy openings here. But I love this. I love this opening from... Oh, Kalaru mind gamed it. Wait, did Lego Man even scout it? I was not paying attention enough. I believe Kalaru took that gristmill and then sold it and put down a bunch of warrens. So Lego Man did see it. He committed to his own gristmill, but hasn't thrown down a farm yet. I think that's smart. Kalaru looks to be aggressive here.
Yeah, he will have a unit advantage because of the finished mill, but I think Lego Man's got quite a defensive position here with the high ground nearby, and he's putting his units on top, so it'll be tough if he decides to move into this.
Yeah, I think Kalaru's being smart from backing out here. That 60 food advantage probably wouldn't be enough to get over the defender's advantage. So he backs out, and like you're saying too, plus the high ground. So smart play here by Lego Man. Ooh, I love it, and even tech switching a little bit. Really good play from Lego Man. I was gonna say I was surprised to not see a single farm, but there it is. So yeah, really cool openings from both sides. I'm curious if Kalaru actually builds any farms here, or if he just goes in.
There was a moment where Kalaru had 3 squirrel warrens and a pigeon warren, but he sold it. Looks like he was potentially going in for that aggressive move, as we said. But yeah, stepping back, grabbing some farms, swapping into chameleons. I guess we'll see some pigeons, no doubt, very soon. But both players very content in their spots.
This is going to be a cool fight if we actually get this like squirrel cam versus squirrel skunk thing going on, because I really think that can go either way. It's going to come down to the target fire. The skunk's obviously going to do a great job against so many squirrels, and I guess the idea if you're Lego Man is use that gas, knock out a bunch of those squirrels, and then finish off the cams, where if you're Kalaru, you're going to try to use your chameleons to not only soak up some damage, but help you target those skunks really quickly. So this is going to be cool. Like, I'm actually really excited for this engagement. It's really going to come down to positioning, and here we go. Ooh, chameleon's getting pulled back.
Half HP during this fight. And as you can see, Kalaru was trying to get up a artillery in the background, meaning he had 180 food floating. But those cams end up, I guess, tanking long enough, even though starting that fight at half HP, able to come in and just clean up, even at the 180 food deficit. Surprising.
Yeah, Lego Man was doing all right there, but I think it was a mistake to target that artillery. I think that was a little cocky.
He did do that, yeah.
Yeah, so it made a lot of his units, you know, stop engaging with Kalaru's. He got an extra couple rounds of fire down, and he just took the engagement from there. And like you were saying, you know, that started off a bit risky for Kalaru because his chameleons kind of got bopped a little bit right at the start, but good job from Kalaru keeping both those cams alive. That's a big victory for sure there. And he also had that snap sell on that artillery, so didn't even really lose a bunch of money off that. And here's the boar. I don't think Lego's even going to get back there and scout it. I think he just wants to keep this aggression on.
Cam's coming in from the side.
Yeah, he actually lost one there.
Yeah.
Not looking good for Kalaru.
Yeah, that was a bit of an awkward fight. Looks like he wanted to commit to sort of a left and right pincer there with the cams to the north and then his squirrels to the west. But he sort of thought best of it and pulled back, but he just got rained on from the high ground from the squirrels and just lost the entire army from it. And now he's losing 5 or 6 warrens, and yeah, that's a tough spot to be in.
And Lego Man takes the fight. That was good. You also got to keep in mind, too, that Kalaru threw down that boar warren, you know, so there was a whole bunch of extra food not in there.
Yeah, it's funny. Each sort of attack that Lego Man did, it was when Kalaru had 180 food invested into something that needed to get up for a longer period. I guess just good timings on the part of Lego Man.
Yeah, and I think Kalaru, what he was trying to do with the chameleons on the side was fancy, like it was good on paper, but just didn't work out there. But alright, you ready for match number 2?
I'm prepared.
Let's do this. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, spawning in the bottom, we've got Kalaru, and his opponent to the left, Lego Man 96. Now, Kalaru needs to win this one and the next one, or another territory is going to be taken from blue. And I think the gentleman actually wrote some rules. Was it? No, I think it was if one team like pulls way out ahead after the first few weeks, something happens. Which I'm not sure if that's really the case. Like green and red seem kind of toe-to-toe. Red's definitely winning right now, but you know, blue is falling super far behind. Hey, see you later, Lego Man. Take care, dude. Yeah, blue really needs to get some points on the board here in these next few matches this week.
You know, on paper, I feel Kalaru wins this match because he has lizards against no toads with toads himself, so he's able to burst down those heavier, tankier units. Plus, he can potentially make that scary Air Force army towards the end game if he gets there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Kalaru rocking Lizard Toad. He's got some capability to be really aggressive, kind of like what we saw in Blue Coon vs. QQ earlier on. And I mean, there's no chameleons here. There's no toads. There's no moles. There's no mines. So yeah, these lizards basically have free reign. They're kind of like super effective against, you know, all of Lego Man's units.
Seeing an opportunity for Kalaru to sort of just take these 2 frontal bases that he has and then build up to that big air army. But who knows what they're thinking right now.
Lots of lizards for Kalaru so far, and gonna go ahead and expand. So not gonna one base all in. Meanwhile, Lego Man, this is like a really, really small map here. Imagine Lego Man gets this like center gristmill in the high ground. It's going to make it real awkward for Kalaru to take either of these bases on his front yard, you know, because they'll be so close together. But in addition to that, you know, if Kalaru gains one of these bases, throws down a balloon, you know, I feel like Lego Man could be pretty easily contained here, and Snake's coming out, so not really something ideal against lizards. You know, a lot of times players want to use these snakes to get in and do some harass and kind of try to retreat, but the lizards will really punish that with their extra movement speed.
Uh-oh. Okay, good sell. But now I don't know if maybe there's enough squirrels to take out the amount of lizards that there are, and I think there is, considering that like several lizards were hitting the mill, unfortunately, getting that mill tank in.
Yeah, the classic mill tank, and Lego Man looking for the counterattack. I don't think he's got quite enough. He's lucky Kalaru didn't pounce on him right there. That could have been devastating, but he's got the snake now. Rallying more and more units. And here comes Kalaru.
Okay, the patience to not try to focus fire the snake, just taking out those frontline squirrels, and he gets the snake anyway, so
yeah, that was
control from Kalaru.
That was really smart, because he could have over DPS'd. I think that's one thing that players forget about when they focus fire too hard is, you know, if something's got 20 HP and you focus fire and deal 36 damage to it, then you just wasted so much DPS. And Kalaru very smartly just let his units attack, got optimal DPS and finished off that tier 2 afterwards. And this is exactly what Claro needed.
Yeah, I don't... without the Toads, I don't think Lego Man has anything to deal with Mass Lizard at the moment. Not to mention he just lost several farms and behind on the eco, as well as the map advantage. It's going to be tough. I think Claro has this one in the bag if he doesn't somehow stuff this aggressive move on the Warrens here, but I think he has it, taking out the Warrens, taking out the Squirrels. His numbers are starting to dwindle, but I think he's going to pull back here, yeah, after doing his damage.
Yeah, it's really cool to see Mass Lizards kind of coming back and being viable again. That's always a really fun style to play.
Yeah, but what sucks though is that you get these situations where, oh man, I don't have Toads, and now I'm just gonna get rushed by Mass Lizard like this, and then you have those situations where players just go Toad and no one goes Lizards.
Yep. Yeah, we saw that. I think we saw that in like the first game of the night, where it was like true. Squirrel Toad versus Squirrel Toad, and Claro getting a point up on the board. Absolutely critical for the blue team here. If you're rooting for the underdog, root Claro, because the blue team really needs to get some points on the board. Ready to get into match number 3?
I'm ready.
Let's do this. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, we're tied up 1-1 with Claro spawning over to the left and Lego Man spawning to the right and switching up decks again. This time around, Lego Man does have those moles to help kind of buffer against the lizards, but Claro's not running those lizards this time.
Yeah, sort of a fascinating out-of-game mind game going on. You would think Lego Man would add in Toads as a response, but he's pretty confident that I guess the moles will do fine against the lizards if Claro decided to go with that again. But as we see, Claro deciding, you know what, let's just go back to the squirrel, knowing that Lego Man will try to do some type of counterplay.
Lots of tier 2 from both sides here. Skunk Falcon and then Snake or Ferret to round it out. I think that makes sense because the Snake and the Ferret are both kind of more of a utility / situational harassment kind of unit, where Skunk Falcon are just kind of bread and butter, AoE and single target DPS. But again, we see this wolf, and we haven't seen a tier 3 tonight at all. It'd be nice to see one. Let's see how this plays out. I mean, this map is pretty big. I guess it's kind of even enough. It looks like Lego Man's got more gristmills in the long run, but I feel like if both players can get pretty reasonable access to 3 bases, like you can't be too upset. You know what I mean?
What scares me for Claro is that he doesn't have pigeons in this matchup, and I think especially Squirrel and Mole against Squirrel, the pigeons are going to make a huge difference in keeping Lego Man's army alive. So in these potential tier 1 battles, even with the mixture of tier 2, Lego Man just might have the more staying power here. If he decides to build the pigeons, we're not even seeing them.
Another point on the pigeons is that we see snakes, right? And the pigeons really help out against snakes. If you don't have pigeons, then if a snake tags a tier 1, it's dead. And here are the moles, but it's going to be tough for Lego Man to really get in. Like, if there was a ramp, like, let's say here in this, like, top corner of the base, I'd be a little bit more worried for Claro, but these moles have just got to walk all the way around to the front of that squirrel warren to really do anything.
I'd like to see potentially Lego Man, to utilize those moles, pull out his squirrels to the middle of the map, maybe force Claro to a special response, and then bring him in?
Yeah. Or, like, wait until Claro takes the second base and there's some pigs. I think you're right. He's either got to sell them or he's got to save them. Looks like he's going to sell them. Oh, nope. He's going to try for it, but again, there's no... Oh, there is a ramp. I am blind. There is a ramp, so he's going to go for the tier 2 warrens.
Oh.
Big plays here from Lego Man. He does get one. He did sell it for $15. So Lego Man did net a little bit of advantage out of that, and it's always cool to see. And another thing, too, is he wins a little bit of tempo because it just takes so damn long to build those tier 2 warrens and then to start making that falcon. So the game plan from Kalaru is delayed a little bit from that. There is literally a ramp there, says Kalaru. I know, listen, man. Alright, Lego Man. Well, both sides really are just getting up to like 3 tier 2 Warrens. Kind of hanging out. Looks like we're gonna get to a mid-game. I don't want to quite call this a macro game yet, but I will call it a mid-game.
Kalaru adding on a ton of Falcons, and if he does end up getting the Wolf out, that's going to mesh really well, but deciding to add on another tier 2. A lot of money going into his army with very little eco at the moment. If there does end up being a clash, he's going to have a hard time reinforcing it.
Man, I'd love to see some Wolf and Ferret. That's always hilarious. I remember when Prince F was in the scene for a little bit. He had a really cool like Wolf Ferret, Falcon, Fox build that was just hilarious. I remember watching Chip from Space Rage on his stream when Prince F would come in with like 6 steroided ferrets, you know? And Kalaru
taking an aggressive base.
Yeah, maybe he wants to throw a balloon down there or use that as like a tank mill.
It's a pretty great play considering if he takes it. I mean, he's got these surrounding bases plus the choke point out of Lego Man's base.
Yeah.
This could mean a win if Lego Man doesn't respond to attempt to take it back.
Absolutely. Lego Man can't sit around and let Kalaru take this high ground. That would definitely be gained because that's just too much map control, especially with units like balloons that just start, adding insult to injury.
I wouldn't even entice Lego Man here. I'd just like stay back, not even bring in my ferrets, just get up the defense and then secure this advantage. But looks like Lego Man spots the balloon and is going to try to do something here, which he needs to. He doesn't want Kalaru to take his position. And now just a full clash, tier 2, a bunch of tier 2 going down on either side. The tier 1 can be mopped up by the smoke on the ground. With that balloon going up, now probably going to just take out the rest of the tier 2. Not even mattering that he has pigeons on him right now.
Mother of God.
This could be the game. Kalaru coming back, taking it 2-0 potentially. One for the Blues.
Yeah, the Blues really need it, and that balloon did go down to snake poison, but that's always such a precarious predicament. When you see something like a balloon or an artillery going down right there, you're just like, you gotta go. You gotta try to hit that timing before it's up.
Kalaru smartly stepping back, waiting for his army to reinforce, even as slow as it is.
Yeah, this is
having advantage.
This is such a nice position to be in when you have ferrets because you don't have to hard commit. You can just keep that pressure on with the ferrets in the back.
Now Lego Man losing his entire army, moles, T1s, and tier 2s in all. Kalaru slipping back, keeping it patient though.
Yep, that skunk staying alive, and this is what I was talking about. Now he can wait for his reinforcement and just keep the pressure on with these ferrets. And here he goes, he moves in again. That skunk is pretty low, and Lego Man taps, so Kalaru gets a couple points back on the board for the blue team. Really, really important there.
Well done.
All right, let's see what we're going into next. We've got Brandy versus Heartseed. Brandy is a new name, I think. I have not heard of them. Heartseed's been around for a while. Let's take a quick look at the board. So you can see here from that victory, the Royal Knights gained a couple points back, so they're not quite so close on the edge against the Penal Squad. So yeah, very good. That's exactly what they needed. All right, we've got Brandy versus Heartseed coming up next. Are you ready, AV?
Let me grab it. Yes, I am.
All right, let's get into it. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, spawning in the bottom, representing, hopefully, representing the Penal Squad, we've got Heartseed. And his opponent up top, representing the Legion, we've got Brandy. Now this is a 1-point match, and Brandy is an Eco, and Heartseed is an Eco Pokemon type. So it's just going to be straight up 1 point either direction. And let's see, Red versus Green. Okay, so if Green wins here, they get a territory from Red. So this is actually another pretty important match, where if Brandy can pull this off for the Red team, then that gets the Red team out of hot water a little bit. Pretty cool compositions. Heartseed rocking that barbed wire. We don't see that too often. And again, the Squirrel Lizard coming down. Now we do see Squizzard versus Squirrel Mole. So I'm kind of hyped for that, to see how these units interact with each other. The word on the street is that it's Squizzard favored, but I think I need a little more evidence before I buy that. I've seen games where the Squirrel Mole does well against Squizzard, but again, it's hard to say just from a balance perspective, because so much more goes into it, right? Like positioning and engagement, concave versus convex, high ground, defender's advantage. You know, it's very rarely as straightforward as just the unit comps fighting one another.
Interesting placement of the Mole Warren behind Heartseed's base. Does it seem like Heartseed's too worried about it at the moment? Though he did notice that Brandy did not have any units, but now he's going in, see how much damage he can do with these. Oh, by bringing them straight in, hopefully he can get the 1, maybe? Oh, no.
Oh, that's always rough. I missed that completely. Good thing you were on top of it. So it looks like it was a proxy Mole Rush. Really good spot to put it, but why didn't they get a pig? Just not wait for all 3 moles? Is that what happened?
He did wait, but I think he just brought it into the side and didn't go for a corner. I guess in that circumstance, moles just don't take out a pig in that case. And now counterattack, no units out for Brandy. Taking out a Warren, now opportunity for a corner farm, not another Warren. Wow.
Yeah, this counterattack from Heartseed, getting a lot of work done. But no critical damage to Brandy quite yet. A couple Warrens going down there. But yeah, this is not a good start for Brandy. Losing those moles for nothing, and then that counterattack from Heartseed, winning that. However, if you look at the army graphs, you look at the eco graphs, Brandy is still in this. They just need a good couple engagements, but this is a lot of units coming in from Heartseed here, and unfortunately, Brandy's kind of stepped out of the defender's advantage, trying to claim that high ground. I think they probably would have been better off, fighting in the pigs, in the Warrens. And now this is starting to snowball into too much damage here for our penal squad player.
Still, Brandy sick. Okay, maybe not.
Okay, short and sweet. I do want to go for 2 hours, AV. If you got a jet, you're always welcome to. But if we blow through these and got a little extra time, there's a couple more. I think the gentleman would be happy if we got to. Yeah, the idea is to rock it for 1 more hour. Just FYI for you and the viewers. And typically, guys, I am doing the feast again on Friday nights, but since we've got the tournament going on right now, there's just so much content that needs to be casted. I kind of substituted that, but keep sending me replays. I need them, especially because the new patch came out, so keep sending in replays of your matches at ToothAndTailTV@gmail.com, please. And Jed Erickson's in the chat. I don't know why I haven't plugged Jed Erickson's tournament quite yet. He's got another in the Vieshel Kuelnes. I probably butchered that, but how do you say that? You're the Vieshel master. Hang on.
I'm sorry. How to pronounce the Carnage?
Is the actual word Carnage? Here, I'll send it to you.
Yes, if you're talking about.
I just Discorded it to you.
Vieshel Kuelnes.
Yeah.
Yes, the VSL Carnage.
So we've got this tournament coming up. It's going to be over on Jed Erickson's channel. I'm going to be co-casting it with him. I believe these are on custom maps, which is actually really cool because there's some really good custom maps in the community. We've done a couple of those tournaments before. Yeah, there's a map pool. You can see the challenge there, but I actually recommend you go to the tournaments section of the Discord. I looked at that pinned message. There's he's got a rule page. He's got a map pool. There's a leaderboard, and it's kind of automated. Massive South set it up to where you can just thumbs up the message. I think that's the best way to sign up for it. So definitely sign up for that event, guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. Jet's trying to get back into the swing of doing some organization, and I think it's actually really cool to see more representation of custom maps, because although the random maps are really fun, like some of the custom maps out there are really, really cool, and the tournaments that we've done on the custom maps have been awesome, so I'm looking forward to that one. Yeah, sign up through Pocketbot, ideally, guys. Yeah, BRB signing up through the challenge link. Or you can sign up through the challenge link to make Jet mad, which is something I always recommend too. But anyways, let's keep this rolling. Looks like we're going into Game 2 of Match 7. Are you ready, Mr. Ultima?
Do it.
All right, let's get into it. 3, 2, 1, go. All right. Spawning in the bottom left, we've got Heartseed. And his opponent up top.
Oh,
Brandy.
I think I went into the wrong replay.
Oh, it's like a snowy map. Did I go in the wrong replay?
I'm on Lego Man and Kalaro right now.
Oh, yeah, you're good. I'll pause it. So I'm at 20 seconds in. I'll let you catch up to me. Actually, I think I'll just keep it going, and you can sync up. All right, getting it situated.
26?
Yeah, I'm on 30. 31, 32, 33. So we've got Cam Balloon here, which is cool. And again, we see this barbed wire balloon. The last game was really aggressive. I'm not sure if that was necessarily Heartseed's plan, or as much of maybe like a counteract to the vulnerability. Like Tooth and Tail or any RTS game in general, you kind of have a plan that gets... I think Mike Tyson said it best, right? Like, you have a plan until you get punched in the face. And it's good to come into the game with a plan, but you also got to think on your feet and be able to adjust. And I think Heartseed did that very well last game. Kind of saw the botched Mole Rush, kind of saw some vulnerable Warrens and just cranked up the pressure, knocked out the opponent in just a few minutes. And here we're seeing another game. And I love this, like, the double-edged sword of placing your Warrens like this. Oh, and this is such a short map, too. So placing your Warrens like this, it's like, yeah, you have a smaller rush distance, but if things go sour, then you're just going to lose that Warren 100%.
Yeah, you don't have the opportunity of the pigs to sort of back up those Warrens from behind. And notice this, as a note, this base to the 6 o'clock, neither player has decided to commit up the high ground to scout it, so I don't know if we'll see either player taking this.
Oh man, look at Heartseed's vision. Like, that is hilarious. Like, yeah, in regards to that base, like, I probably would think that there's no base there if I saw that.
Yeah, it's such a off little ramp to it.
This is...
You found it? Man, free money.
This is pretty bold from Brandy, I gotta be honest. Like, such a short rush distance, and they've decided to take this 3 o'clock. Okay, so Heartseed is also expanding up, so that's a little bit better. Yeah, Heartseed's gonna come get the scout now. Probably been thinking about it, been like, is there a base there? Is there a base? Okay, yes, there is a base there.
That's really good scout discipline. Awesome.
And meanwhile, Brandy is just rocking and rolling. I was worried about that gristmill because we have such short rush distances. We have so much tier 1. But they're getting away with it for now. These chameleons are going to be fantastic if they can just get a little bit longer for them to get out on the board. Chameleons typically do great against tier 1 in smaller numbers.
If I was Heartseed, I'd probably would have taken that base down to the bottom, and then when given the chance to add on some farms, do it down there instead of in front of your base. Maybe throw Brandy off if he's watching the the farm count. And Heartseed going in for a little backstab here with the army on the front end. You can get 2 farms here potentially.
Oh yeah, that was beautiful. 2 farms for maybe like 1 lizard. Yeah, and that's another added advantage of that hidden base, right? Like you come in and you scout and you don't see a base, so you're like, oh crap, they're 1 base all inning me. And you start building all this army you don't need. Meanwhile, your opponent's ecoing up, and that was good for Heartseed, but Brandy is winning the greed game so far. Heartseed's building all this defense. Oh man, this is awesome. That Warren is going to go down for sure. You know, that balloon, ferrets work a lot like siege tanks do in StarCraft, where they have like a longer range than they do vision. So the balloon there helping spot for that ferret's just awesome.
Yeah, there's absolutely no opportunity for Brandy to attack up this high ground. Oh no, sell that! Oh!
Did they sell the balloon?
No.
No, yeah, you can see the dip in the army. That is rough. And taking the fight out here in the middle of the grounds, and this just looks like it's snowballing in Heartseed's favor. And it looks to me like the Penal Squad is about to take another territory from Red, which is actually going to even out the Penal Squad and Red. Let me see, 1, 2, 3. So that's going to be 9. I think 11 for Red and 9 for Green after this match ends. So take a little bit of the wind out of the sails of the Red team here. Nicely done by Heartseed. Grabbing that 2-0.
Decisive victory.
Let's see how on point the gentleman is with his updating here. Oh, bam! Already did it. Look at that. Already updated. So another territory getting swapped over. Green grabbed the territory from Red, and then the kind of balance has reset here. So yeah, this is the state of the game so far. Let's see how much more we've got into match week 1. Let's see, has this been updated? Yes. So basically, anything that's not bold. Let me zoom in a little bit. That might help for you viewers out there. Bam. Yeah, that's a lot better. Okay, so what do we got left? We got a blue versus red. We got a couple matches left. We got 2, 4, 6. So there's 11 matches total. And we've done 6. So we got 5 more. So there's a little bit of an opportunity for things to swing still. Only about halfway through the week, but we also did have that extra leader free-for-all as well, which Red won, which helped give them a little extra oomph. Okay. And what are we going into next? We've got Weasel versus Gustavams. So let me update that scoreboard. This is match number 8. Let me take a quick look. So Weasel is a defense type, and Gustavam is also a defense type, so no Pokemon type advantage here. And this is a 2-point match, so the winner will gain 2 points, the loser will lose 2 points. It's even right now for Red versus Green, so not a super high stakes match, but every victory point counts. And are you ready to go?
I am this time.
All right,
sure.
let's get into it. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, I would love an Adopt a Noob tournament, Kalara. That sounds like fun. All right, over on the left, we've got Citizen Weasel. Not Lieutenant Weasel, huh? Did he retire from the military? Up top, we've got Gustavams. And let me just double check these guys got their right colors on. They do. Okay. And yeah, let's see it. Some more barbed wire here. We got that Squizzard from a Gustavam, and Citizen Weasel's deck looks very vulnerable to something like Squizzard. And this map here is kind of awkward for a Gustavon. He can come out and get 3 base, but he's really going to have to put his foot on the ground in order to do that, right? Because that's just so close to Citizen Weasel. But we got a 5-farm double here from Citizen Weasel, getting spicy.
See how much this barbed wire affects it a lot as he pulls back the swirl before it heads into it.
Now, why did he... Okay,
barbed wire.
I think I think he pulled back because he saw the Warren, but that barbed wire doesn't hurt, and lizards aren't that great on defense though. So yeah, now with all this barbed wire here, that is going to be a little bit rough. But I think the squirrels could still get in, dodging this barbed wire, trying to go for that pig. And the Gustavon's going to try to jump on these squirrels, but just didn't have the number. Oh, that one piece of barbed wire, AV!
No!
Dude, that barb. Oh my god. Oh, if that pig lived, it would have been because of the barbed wire. I was about to be hyped. Because it killed that one squirrel so fast, but Citizen Weasel just barely got that last shot off on that pig to seal the deal there.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but it also slowed down your units as well, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think it does slow your units down, but doesn't hurt them.
Gotcha.
Yeah, yep, it does. Confirmed.
Yeah, there's like an odd relationship going on here. Is that though it's on the defensive, Gustavon needs to get to the squirrels to defend, and he's having to move his own lizards through his own barbed wire, which causes maybe 1 or 2 extra shots to hit the lizards, which is causing issues for him, unfortunately.
Yeah, Citizen Weasel is just dealing so much damage here. I think Gustavon goofed a little bit this game. One, deciding to defend with lizards over squirrels, and then 2, he took some engagements where he just didn't have the numbers. He tried to fight in with like 4 or 5 lizards versus like 6 or 7 squirrels, and yeah, sure, lizards do beat squirrels, but numbers kind of counter everything. And nice job this time around though, using those lizards to pick off the reinforcements. That was really smart. But so much damage has been dealt here. It's hard for me to see Augusta getting back into this.
Yeah, the lizard barbed wire defense relationship here is quite awkward when you have squirrels attacking you. You having to pull your own lizards through. Though in that we've seen that Weasel though hasn't gotten that 7th and 8th farm, and that hasn't put Gustavon's too far behind. But now losing that other farm, he's now starting to far behind in that respect. And with Weasel now grabbing ferrets, he's gonna be able to shoot over that barbed wire fairly easily.
Yeah, you know what? I actually forgot that Citizen never went up to 8 farms. So you're right. I think Agusa is not quite as far behind as I originally thought. And, ferrets are going to be a great way to seal the deal here. But if Agusa can overrun with lizards, I mean, on paper, if he had enough numbers, lizards do beat Squirrel Ferret. But yeah, he just doesn't have enough here. Immediately taps out. Once that first cannonball hits his base.
He sold all his warrens and just put all 8 farms down. Sort of a risky gambit considering the rush distance.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe he was thinking the attack was over and he was going to get some breathing space. And I actually respect that decision from Agusa. And here's why. Because he was so far behind, he had to do something crazy and something risky to get back into the game. Does that make sense? Because if he just tried to play it out normally, Weasel would have had it. So Agusa's like, you know what, this probably won't work, but maybe Weasel backs off for a minute and these 8 farms pay off for me. So I respect that decision.
Yeah, it shows that his, mind was churning and trying to think of a solution out of the problem he was in.
Yeah. Okay, ready to hop into match number 2 here?
Let's see. Yes, for sure.
Let's get into it. 3, 2, 1, go. Right, spawning in the bottom, we've got Agustavons, and his opponent to the left. Up a game, we've got Citizen Weasel.
As a note, when green builds in this formation, it looks like a Y-wing. Just thought I'd mention that.
Oh yeah, I see it. That's awesome. So this is a crazy map. I always love the rain. I don't know why I always feel like inclined. Maybe it's because I'm a swamp man. Maybe because I'm a Florida boy and it always rains here, so I relate to that, you know. But it just looks good. It was well designed, I think. And this is a weird map. Like, if you're Augusta, once you take this natural, you know, that's basically a point of contention, because now the territories are going to be touching. And Citizen's probably not going to be happy with the base right there. And maybe Augusta could try something like taking the 2 o'clock up here to be a little safer. I don't know. Like, how do you play this one out?
You know, if that little creek that ran through the center of those lines wasn't there, I would say it would be huge for Augusta to take it. Well, I mean, even more so.
Oh my god. I didn't even think about that. Like, that creek plus the ferrets from Weasel?
Yeah.
Ugh. Oh, I want to see that so bad now. That is amazing for a ferret player.
Yeah, that river there really cuts down that rush distance. So even though it's a great center point in the map, it's hard to sort of, shove off from that location to grab positions. While Weasel sort of has this sort of clockwise route to start taking bases.
Yeah, this looks great for Weasel, especially with his deck here. Like, imagine just throwing like 1 or 2 turrets up on this high ground next to this river and starting to siege down with these ferrets. I mean, that's rough. And Augusta, no plans for a long game so far. Gonna trough through the water here with 10 squirrels and see what's up, see if he can get anything done.
The first squirrel of Weasel going down just now. That Warren doing a ton of work. Oh, and that was the third Warren was a toad. Is it going to explode? Okay, getting 1. Usually hope it does more than that. I think Weasel would have come out even more on top if it wasn't a Toad Warren that he had, but let's see what kind of defense he can mount here with another Toad going off, not going down. I think the Toad actually making a huge difference in these fights.
Yeah, that extra AoE damage on all those units really helped, but, you know, Augusta is railing through here. Already killed 2 Warrens. And keeping the aggression on. I think this is really smart from Augusta, to be honest, because as we were kind of drooling over this map position for Weasel, you know, Augusta probably realizes that and says, I'm not going to let you sit back and get ferrets and turrets and bases, you know. I'm going to end this real quick, and we're going to go to match 3 where maybe I get the better side of the map, you know.
Yeah, you know, that river is sort of making a huge difference, I think, in that sort of, you know, continuous rally that Augusta was doing.
Yeah.
The river slowing down the squirrels just enough for Weasel to get his own defense out. And now sort of the plans have reset. Now his original plan to get that.
And there's that turret number 1. And
more toads, huh?
And actually, this isn't the worst map in the world for Augusta, as much as we've been kind of praising it. I think why I'm so excited for Weasel is just because of what he has in his deck here. You know, Augusta can very easily get a 2nd, 3rd, and 4th base. He's even got barbed wire, which could really help out, you know, with this natural defense too. This is actually really cool. Like, I wouldn't hate seeing like a custom map that had like high ground with a river separating it. You know what I mean? Like we see here. Like, that just feels like, to me, it could make for some really interesting situations. But in reality, it probably would. The interesting situation would probably just be balloons, which is not what we want. That's a lot of toads, man. That is a lot of toads, and after the nerf, a lot of people are hating on these toads, so let's see if they can get anything done. They're going to get the connections they need and absolutely annihilate the squirrels here for Augusta, but the skunks and the remaining squirrels clean everything up. Man, I thought that would go better for Weasel. He got all the connections he needed, it looked like.
Yeah, it was tremendous connections, but I guess... Well, I mean... He's mounting good defense. All he's got is 1 squirrel to him, but though keeping the skunk alive. Now chasing him back, but now he's sort of chasing a skunk through smoke, so that might be an issue. But now there's huge army advantage at the moment. Yeah, massively. Hopefully it doesn't blow any Okay, nice control.
Yeah.
Using those toads to hit the not the mill.
Yeah, that's always painful. If you're not careful, those toads blowing up on structures. Sometimes you don't mind them blowing up on structures like Warrens or something if you're just trying to YOLO in there, but ideally you want to save those toads for enemy units.
What a fascinating ebb and flow that was. It looked like it was an utter destruction from Weasel getting those toad hits, and then Augusta came out of that with a counterattack, attacking his mill, and then Augusta comes back with a storm, taking out his own mill and Warrens.
Alright, Weasel continuing to move forward with this Squirrel Toad composition. This time around, good target fire. Great target fire from Augusta. Oh my god! Weasel just got wrecked there. No toads connected. And so many... What just happened?
Yeah, it's an interesting just back and forth.
Gosh!
This game. The players wrecking each other. And now Augusta with the returns to see if he can close it out, unless he gives Weasel a chance. But I think, yeah, he's gonna do it.
That was insane. I wish I could rewind, man. I want to watch that engagement again. Like, look at it on the graph. Look at that. Look at that. How did that happen? Like,
wow.
Augusta killed like all of Weasel's squirrels while losing like nothing. That was insane.
In like 9 out of 10 cases, Weasel comes back and wins that because he took out farms, he took out a whole bunch of Warrens plus army. He just goes in for the death blow, but I think he just rallied into a bad spot. His units going in one by one into a concave on top of Warrens, and yeah, I think in that last fight he didn't lose a single squirrel. What an interesting game.
Oh man,
what does that bring us in the
match number 3? We're 1-1 now.
Oof.
All right, you ready to hop into it?
I'm ready.
Let's do it. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, spawning in the bottom, we've got Citizen Weasel. And his opponent up top, Augusta Bombs. All right. A little bit of deck changes, it looks like. Man, I'm still like flabbergasted by that last engagement. That was so good for Augusta Bombs. You know, one thing that we haven't seen much lately is players utilizing these cabins, and I feel like Weasel's like got it such a good opportunity here to go for like a 1.5 base all in. You know what I mean? Like grab these couple cabins to just kind of reinforce and build a whole bunch of squirrels, maybe 2 or 4 chameleons, and try to go for it. They used to be like really popular. I wonder why players aren't going for that as much nowadays. I think it's because like a lot of the high-end players know how to do like safer macro openings where they can get their gristmill, you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, you got a cabin, but I got a second base, so.
Yeah, Tooth and Tail being a game of, every second matters. I imagine that, even taking the time to quickly destroy a cabin sort of ruins that potential, quick forward base play that we used to see when they didn't have those cabins sitting on top of them.
We see an early chameleon here from Weasel. It's going to get scouted Oh, no. Okay, he does see it. So how does Augusta want to respond to that? Does he throw down a bunch of tier 1? Throw down his own tier 2? Yeah, he's just going to get his own tier 2.
Measured response?
But this is going to be kind of cool, like Squirrel Mole Cam versus Squirrel Pigeon Cam, I guess. But man, I would love to see Weasel like grab this campfire, and just put on a lot of one-base pressure.
And it seems like something he'd need to do. Okay, choosing to go with his back base there. He could, build himself into a hard position here if Gustav takes the frontal lines here. And he's got those 3 nice little bases sitting there for him. Do you think he should sell that lonely barbed wire? With an additional
I think so. But you never know, I guess. Or I would actually like to see it a little bit. Oh, actually, this barbed wire might not be so bad once he gets that gristmill. and he can maybe, you know, see a couple of these little chokes here, like where Hopper's running right now, throwing some barbed wire right there might not be too bad.
You know, I once said that Tooth and Tail is a game of inches and centimeters, and like I'm picturing a moment. Okay, he sold it, but I'm like picturing a moment later in the game where he's like fighting, you know, to his very last squirrel, but the squirrels are running through the barbed wire, and that slight slowdown makes them get to the battle too late to make a difference.
Absolutely. Oh, here comes the chameleon harassment. He's gonna let these walk all the way to the back of the base, and it can be really hard to defend against this, and one of the things that helps you out is seeing the opponent rally, but Weasel doesn't have vision on this since Augusta was up on that high ground, and I think he got both of those building farms. Weasel sold that last one pretty quickly, but huge victory there for Augusta Bomb.
That's awesome.
I think that was really smart how Augusta kept the commander up on this high ground, you know. And is Weasel gonna knee-jerk push out after this? I kind of like this for Augusta. Let's see how this plays out, though. Those Falcons are going to do so much damage in the back with so much to buffer for them on the front lines. The Chameleons do drop for Augusta, but he's got so much Squirrels and Falcons left over. Pushing in here, and the big threat is that Skunk, but I don't know if Weasel's got enough to really contest this. Okay, this might be a little bit too far. Yeah, that one Skunk holding on for dear life very well. And nice decision by Augusta to back out there.
Yeah, Weasel losing a Warren and a farm, his 8th farm behind the mill in that engagement. But luckily he has some farms in the back to sort of keep him in the game, but he's sort of falling behind now. The Skunk's making... Yeah, in that engagement, the Chameleons of Weasel fell really fast, so they weren't able to tank as much as he had hoped. So his sort of supplementary squirrels just died soon after. Ooh, look at all that barbed wire going up. Open to set up. Yeah, now sort of Augusta's in that defensive position where he can take these sort of side mills. And Weasel's looking to potentially do a bit of maneuvering to get himself back into this game. Setting down that Skunk gas sort of to start out. Not doing too bad. Now Gustavon's Cam's getting into the battle, but one's sort of like bringing up the rear, not in the fight immediately, sort of taking out his entire army there. Is he going to choose to push in to try to do some damage here? That probably is pretty smart.
That Skunk is such low HP, though. 1 HP left is still contributing. Those Chameleons are very low as well. One of them gets popped off, and man, this is exactly what Weasel needed. He really can't afford to sit back and try to play a long game because, as you mentioned, you know, Goose has got so many gristbills on this side of the map, and is he gonna get that base? It doesn't look like it.
I think he had an opportunity to get it, but Weasel sort of backed up and stopped the the focus firing. Didn't get it. That could have been the game right there. Wow.
Now, as a consolation prize, he did get a couple of those farms, so that does help, but yeah, Weasel needed a little more damage there. Like, he took the good fight, but he, you could see on the graph, like, probably where he decided to start targeting it, and that really hurt. You know, he sacrificed a lot to target that mill down, and it kind of would have been #worth if he got the mill, but didn't quite get there.
Well, my brain tells me at the moment, just looking at the current unit counts, the 18 squirrels and the 2 falcons of Augusta is just going to melt anything that comes in contact with him. But, you know, I could be wrong here.
Yeah, Weasel's got one more. He's got a last 2 raw in him, I think. Especially because we're well past the 5-minute mark. And yeah, now, saving grace for Weasel might be that Augusta really hasn't taken a 3rd base yet or doesn't have that better economy just yet. But like you said, there's just so much here for Augusta. Weasel's really got to take this engagement as perfect as possible.
Oh no, he was hitting the mill for a lot of that.
Oh my god! Oh. That actually went well for Weasel!
The mill!
You gotta be kidding me!
How are these players going so back and forth right now? This set has been nuts. Now, is he going to close out this mill, or is he going to sort of lose to the pig defense once again? What's he going to do here?
Oh my god, Weasel. This is exactly what he needed.
Weasel!
2 HP Falcon does go down.
Falcon going down. That's huge. And now his skunk coming out with 1 HP.
Oh man, that skunk getting back home. That is actually monumental as we go into these like low eco game here. Having that tier 2 still alive is huge.
Yeah, Weasel having both a cam and a skunk to the back of his army, while Ragusa having Falcon going down. Oh, just not having the luck with his tier 2s.
That might have been the nail in the coffin. That Falcon going down, man.
Yeah. Ragusa waiting a moment. Still, his units are pretty weak. Oh, but the Chameleon's going to make all the difference in the world. Still 30 HP coming into the beginning of that fight.
Such good tier 2 control here from Weasel. You know, really doing a good job of keeping his units alive here and bleeding Agusta down. Yeah, Agusta's got the better map, but he just doesn't have the time. He doesn't have the money. He's got 11 squirrels and a dream here. Let's see if he can get it done.
Yeah, the biggest thing that Agusta has here is just his squirrel numbers coming in so quickly compared to the massive tier 2 army of Weasel. So with each fight, you know, it comes down to that tier 2 control. And we'll be at 2 farms versus 2 farms, but Agusta getting that campfire up.
Yeah, and unfortunately, this barbed wire is not even going to help that much since the Chameleon is actually kind of super effective against that barbed wire. Oh, Weasel catching this wire. Like you were saying earlier, man, a game of inches and centimeters. 20 food going down for free.
Oh, man, use the barbed wire to your advantage. Agusta pulling his own units through probably might actually be the thing that... now having 1 tier 2 left, but Agusta still having a bit of money, able to replenish his squirrels, but I think he's going to start starving, isn't he?
That campfire going down. Agusta's got nothing left. Damn, I think this is probably my favorite match of the night. This is definitely the best series of the night. Like, this series has been so back and forth.
No. Okay, I thought Weasel was going to pull his army. We're going to see some kind of base race go on, but he is out of position to his units right now.
Oh, so imagine if Weasel went to attack right now. I don't think this is going to work because Weasel can easily just come back down and rally, but, you know, that was a smart move from Agusta, because if Weasel actually rallied north right there, maybe he could base race.
Yeah, both players are farming, or starving, but Weasel sort of has that backfill that allows him to sell. And not even Weasel is able to do this at the moment. Wow. Fantastic game from both sides.
Man, that squirrel and skunk have been alive for so long, too.
What's Agusta got in him? Is that it?
That's going to be it. Weasel taking the series. Definitely well-deserved there. Phenomenal play from both sides.
Well-fought series. Well done.
Yeah, very, very entertaining matches.
Woo!
All right. So that is just going to be a couple points for the red team. Nothing super crazy. I guess I could show real quickly. Over here, you can see the red team grabbing a couple points off that. And we got one more on the docket here. Maybe we'll do a bonus best of 3 if we feel up to it after this. Let's see how long this one takes. Alright, so we've got Eel versus Parsival, which is match number 9 if you're following along on the spreadsheet. And that is attack versus attack, so a lot of these, we haven't got to see a lot of the type advantage and disadvantages tonight. But this is a big 3-point game here. And this is actually huge. If Eel wins this, then red grabs the territory from green. Because red just needs 3 more points, and this is worth 3 points. So let's see how it goes. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do this. 3, 2, 1, go. All right, spawning in the bottom, representing the Penal Squad, we've got Parsival. And up top, representing Legion, we've got Eel Luminatus. Let me just... Now I'm all paranoid. I gotta, like, double check everybody's teams. All right, these are the right team colors. And, got that Wolf again. You know, we haven't seen a single Tier 3 even built tonight, have we?
You know, I don't... well, I think the closest we saw was a boar being placed down by a player I do not remember.
Kalaru, yeah, you're right. Kalaru in one of the matches placed down a Tier 3 Warren, but ended up losing before he could reap the fruit of that. But mostly we have been seeing the Wolf picked, which is kind of neat. I kind of like it. You know, it just synergizes so well with stuff like Falcons. And Parsival got a lot of options here. The 3 Tier 1, 3 Tier 2 setup. Meanwhile, Eel is rocking that, like, kind of, we kind of call it the intended split. That's kind of the split that I enjoy playing myself. The 2 Tier 1, 2 Tier 2, a Tier 3, and a defense.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing crazy yet. 8 farm double from Parsival. Meanwhile, Eel opening up an 8 farm single into a mill. I think Eel's opening is a little more meta nowadays. I think players like to be a bit more greedy with how fast they get that second base up. But either of these openings are fine. I think Parsival's like 8 farm double into a gristmill is definitely safer. It's a bit older. Like, that's how I'm kind of used to playing. But I think either of these openings are fine, and it's not gonna, you know, Eel's gonna have a little bit of an economic advantage, but it shouldn't be too significant. And it looks like Parsival's eyeing this lone Warren over here, really wants to take it out, and comes in from a nice attack angle here. This is coming great for Parsival, but those turrets build so quickly. Now the turret's here. Parsival's gonna have to move home, but move out of there. But you know, I think that was a nice little victory for him there.
Yeah, typically you don't see the low ground units winning up against high ground units in that situation, but that was great positioning and getting a decent concave even around that cliff to get it.
Kalaru, I always try to entertain your love for Tier 3. I appreciate it, sir. I always get hyped for Kalaru matches, man. You always got Tier 3, you've always got artillery cannon. Those are super entertaining things. Alright, we got the snakes on the way for Parsival, and skunks for Eel. This is another one of those matchups like the snake versus skunk. I feel like really comes down to control and in positioning. You know, those snakes trying to get the tags, the skunk. Really, I'm not sure if it's correct for the snakes to try to like straight up tag the skunk. I think the snake is kind of like an AoE unit in that you know what I'm talking about when players will like try to spread out the snake tags and like try to hit all the Tier 1 once, you know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
So I'm curious if Parsival goes that route or if he like tries to pounce on the Tier 2 of his opponents with that snake.
Yeah, with no speedy units and nothing to heal, there's great opportunity for a lot of pickoffs to happen here.
Yeah.
Though, Parsival's in like a great main base, expansion base here on top of 2 Tier 3 tier high ground. So it's going to be tough getting those pickoffs from this position.
Yeah.
He decides to go for them.
I don't even really touch on that. You can't ask for a better spawn here than what Parsival has, you know. Second base and third base right here. Like, beautiful. And I think this match is really going to come down to this high ground in the middle. You know, who can control that? Who can dominate that? And Eel having the turrets here, that would be so sick to see Eel, you know, place some turrets on that high ground there, maybe like on the edge of his territory, and really try to put the pressure on.
You know, it's nice sometimes getting these maps where the mills aren't sort of marking the, you know, positions for the players in the middle. It's going to be nice to see how the players themselves define where the engagements are going to happen when they happen.
Okay, we got a macro game on our hands. Neither player moving out just yet. We shooting up to 16 farm economies pretty quickly. And hidden base over here in the side for Eel, trying to get up to that third, so we can see Eel. Oh, nice scout from Parsifal there, but and we can see Eel's intentions at least, that he wants to take this game a bit longer. And that's going to be rough for Eel to defend, you know, especially with this water slowing his units down over there. And here we go, Parsifal is starting to muscle for some position on the map here. Pulls back for now.
Waiting for his Falcons to come out. He's just placed those down, and they're queuing now.
Come on, Eel. Where's that Wolf Warren? Let's see it. Where is Eel? He's over here. So I wonder if Eel doesn't know that Parsifal knows. And Parsifal's got the cams, too. That's just a perfect unit. Or really, I think the moles are probably better. Yeah, there's those turrets I was talking about. All right, I'm getting hyped. And turrets just built... Oh, no! Parsifal! No. Commander going down. That is such a big deal. And his army just walking into those turrets, taking so much damage. Eel feeling confident now. Gonna press into the main base. And, oh, that is the worst way to lose, man. I feel your pain. Like that... I try to pride myself on not getting salty in competitive gaming. But that's one of those situations where... you're gonna get salty, you know? That feels bad, man. Like, it was so neck and neck. Oh, that's rough.
I was really looking forward to seeing the decision-making and the interactions with that high ground.
Oh, that was gonna be such a cool game.
Yeah.
Yeah, Parsifal in the chat, that made me so mad. Dude, I don't blame you. Like, again, I try to stay level-headed in competitive games. But when that happens to everybody, it happens to the best of us, and when that happens, you're kind of justified getting a little angry. All right, man. Match number 2. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
3, 2, 1, go. Okay, spawning in the right side, we've got Illuminatus and his opponent to the left, Parsifal. Rocking the Badger this time, and the Mines. Mines are
decent map for Mines, actually.
Yeah, the Mines are really cool. Oh, man. Okay. This would be like 200 IQ play, but I would love to see like the snakes trying to harass or something and then getting slowed by the Mines and then being chased down by the lizards. You know what I mean? Like the Mines helping the lizards even more so catch up to things would be so dope, but no squirrels at all here from Eel. Rocking that lizard toad instead. Yeah, and as Claro points out in the chat, kind of interesting that he's running Badger without the pigeons. They kind of go hand in hand like peanut butter and jelly. But just a peanut butter sandwich here for Eel. Not messing around, trying to cut out that sugar.
Normally I'd say that Eel's in a great position to sort of just mass Lizard here, but you said that moles are actually quite decent against Lizard? Or am I incorrect about that?
Yeah, so... historically, like before this patch, it was Squirrel Mole just almost always would beat Squizzard. But I think the word on the street now, because Mole's got a little bit of an HP nerf, I think this Squizzard versus Squirrel Mole is a little bit more balanced. I think it probably comes down more now to the engagement, the positioning, that kind of thing. But, you know, we don't see Squizzard here. We see Lizard Toad. So I'm not sure how Lizard Toad goes against Squirrel Mole. Lizard Toad always kind of been that red-headed stepchild of the 2 tier 1 combos.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to control that. The speedy units versus just the slow units of the Toad, or at least the seemingly slow. Selling 2, nice.
A couple mines being thrown down. Chameleon's on the way, Snake's on the way. Eel trying to get that pocket base. Meanwhile, Parsifal's placing himself quite aggressively here, building these warrens far out, right on the edge of the territory. But I don't hate this because eventually he's going to have the bases here, so it makes a lot of sense. They're not just kind of out in no man's land. And Parsifal getting that classic square, I call it the castle here, just that nice diamond of gristmills. You can't really ask for a better spawn than that.
You know, if this was a map to, you know, defend and take up to that Badger, this is it. He's got those mines up front there, a bit of a choke point with some river, hard time to attack into. But looks like we're going to see. Ooh, Parcel will go up onto the high ground. Nice maneuvering, getting the high ground, just getting out of the way of those mines, not having a perfect shot at this mill here.
Yeah, this is a deadly attack here from Barstool. Let's see how Eel holds on. He does have the Chameleons, which end up defending very nicely. A couple tier 1 units left over, but they're also low HP. This Pigeon trying to get here to heal. Slacking off a little bit. Oh, just a few units left. But Parsifal's gonna try to be safe and back out. Gonna hit that. Oh, okay, now it hits that mine.
Ooh. That mine can make all the difference. The Snake gonna go down. Bit of a poor control there, keeping it on the front lines, but I think there's enough squirrels and pigeons to stay into the fight. Let's see what Eel decides to do here. Parsifal backing up, regathering his units. Unfortunately using 3 farms on the main, and now just bringing all his units inside, so we're just getting melted. I think Eel's going to tap out in the moment as soon as this ferret goes down.
Yeah, it's just so much damage here. Really smart timing attack from Parsival. Nice, a cool army comp to do it with too, like Squirrel, Mole, Snake. We don't see that very often, and it ended up working out for him, surprisingly, even against those Chameleons. Nicely done.
Decisive.
So that's it.
Oh, that's it.
That's it.
Oh wow, that went by so fast.
I know. You think you got another? Think you got another 3 in you?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right, let's do it. Let's do a few more. Make gentlemen happy here. Let me see what I got.
So, was there a vote to keep Archimedes out of this fight?
Oh, so the leaders got to pick their faction colors, and then the last faction represents the mercenaries. So yellow, Archimedes isn't really relevant because the mercenaries will never be really flying just merc colors, if that makes sense. But the mercenaries in general, like on the spreadsheets and stuff, are yellow.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. I got something for us. Give me one sec. So in the meantime, man, you want to link your Discord to your game? Are you looking for testers or anything at the moment?
People are saying that it's 1-1.
Oh wait, what is it?
Yeah, that's why I thought it went kind of fast. Or
am I crazy? I might be crazy. I might be tired. Yeah, you're right. You're right. What am I thinking? Oh my gosh. Sorry, chat. I'm losing it here. It is 1-1 because the first game, Eel, I put the wrong scoreboard on is what I did. I screwed up there. The first time I should have given a point to Eel. Because the first game was where Parsival's commander went down, remember? And then Eel just ran over him. So yeah, we are into a third match here. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. I am a human being and make mistakes quite often. Are you ready to get into match number 3?
Yes.
Let's do this. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, this is it. This is for all the marbles here. We've got Eel spawning in the bottom. And we've got Parsival up to the top left. Eel rocking that fox.
Nice.
I'm already excited. See if we can get some fox action tonight. I'd be happy to see any tier 3 action tonight, but let's see. I think Parsival's got the same deck as he had last time.
Tier 3 rush, is that not a thing anymore? I remember that being such a thing.
I don't, you know, a sad
down in defense and then just get that tier 3 up.
Yeah, that's what I used to love to do, but I don't think it is a thing anymore. And I think the reason is because players just kind of figured out, how do I put it? I think it's not a thing anymore for the same reason that we don't see like 5-farm doubles and stuff as often. Because if you go for a 5-farm or a 4-farm double against me, I know how to deal with it, right? I know to get 1 or 2 extra farms over you and build enough units to where when you get to my base, I can hold with the defender's advantage. And I think the 1 base tier 3 kind of suffers from the same thing, where if it's scouted out and your opponent knows you're doing it, they just know how to respond. Like typically against Fox, for example, even if you don't have like that anti-fox repellent spray in your deck, you can still, like Parsival's deck, for example. I mean, yeah, the snakes are okay against the fox. Well, snakes will kill a fox if they can get a single tag off, but obviously the fox outranges them. But Parsival, if Parsival scouted an early fox, for example, could just eco up like crazy, and then just build so many squirrels and moles. And it's like, yeah, Kasha's getting value, but you're just overrunning them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
So it's just been figured out a little bit. However, it can be viable to get like a quick tier 3 if your opponent doesn't realize it's happening. But I think the way that players like to do that nowadays is off like 2 base. Like you get like a second base and you saturate it up about halfway, and then you sneak out at tier 3 a little earlier than expected. I used to only do tier 3 rushes, Jacoby. Dude, I used to do tier 3 rushes all the time too. I had it like booked out. The build still works. Like, it's one of those really satisfying builds where the math just works very nicely. But hold that thought. Parsival coming in, basically the same thing he did last game. You know, getting a nice little squirrel ball snake push together. And let's see if Eel can handle it this time. These skunks doing a great job here.
Yeah, so far their builds have been really similar, so it's not too surprising that it was sort of just a... Oh, but now they're just going to straight up fight here. One snake going down. The snake potentially going to go down for Eel. And now we're losing our tier 1, but that mole, that hero mole, just hitting that snake over and over again. Getting a second tag that might descend that one to its death. Yes. Sort of looking at the graph, coming out actually equal at the moment in army value.
Yeah, this skunk snake opening from Eel doing a lot better than those chameleons from last time. But I mean, did Eel... Yeah, Eel got much better scouting this time around. You know, I think Eel realized what was happening with seeing such aggressively placed Warrens. And especially because this just happened to him last game.
The defense coming out for Eel. Let's see. You know, I'm wondering if... Well, I mean, yeah, it's 2 tier 2 Warrens versus just 1 tier 2. And Parsival's got pigeons. What I'm sort of been seeing a lot from these games is that the pigeons are pretty great at healing things and sustaining, but if the other player just has more power than you, I just feel that the pigeon player really gets overpowered in a lot of these engagements.
Absolutely. And Eel just held this off so much better than he did last game. Even trying to get that second base up and running I think he immediately scouted that second base from Parsival too, so he sees Parsival wants to transition out of this, but it's always rough. Like, that could be a red herring second base, you know. Could be canceled, could, you know, only one farm goes down, and you start farming up, and all of a sudden they come at you with a whole bunch more tier 1. Nice follow-up scout from Eel, just to make sure that wasn't canceled. Check and see how many farms. Like, this part of the game, scouting is so important, and I think, you know, something that really separates like good players from the best, because it's really easy to kind of get a little lax on your scouting at this point, you know, but you gotta keep a track on how many farms are going down on that second base in particular, and I think both players are doing a great job doing that. Eel taking a third over here at the 3 o'clock, kind of interesting. Maybe setting up for like a base race scenario, but wonder what he's thinking with that one.
I wonder if it's one of those moments where it's more worth it to grab it so you can... Oh, wow. Going heavy on the farms. Okay, deciding against it. Maybe he'll drop some over here now? Yeah, those moments where you're sort of splitting your... you know, putting all your eggs in one basket, so to say. But still, this is quite a lot of farms. But you know what's interesting, though? Speaking about importance of scouting, you know, Parsival just scouted... Oh, he's only got 4 or 5 farms like me. He doesn't have the extra 3. So I'm good to
Oh, yeah.
My game plan a little bit.
Yeah, you're exactly right. That's what Eel's doing. He's trying to send false information to Parsival. And this can bite you in the butt, though, if your opponent, builds more units than you do.
For sure.
Oh, scouts that Fox.
Ooh.
Trying to get the Fox out now. And this might trigger Parsival to move out, which, again, could be bad for Eel because he invested in the Fox. He invested in these additional farms. But, yeah, this is going to be rough. If Eel can hold this attack, he basically wins. And I love that balloon.
Yeah, it's going to barely get up at the start of this fight, I think. Smoke going down. Sniper balloons starting to go up and pick up some units. But, man, it's really hard to tell. But, oh, wow, pulling back those snakes to keep him alive just for a little bit long to get additional tags. But, man, it looks like Eel's, in the very least, going to be able to hold off the attack to get that Fox up at some point. But he's super supply blocked because he just lost a ton of army. But selling 4 Tier 1 Warrens, okay, really wants that Fox.
Yeah, technically Parsival won that fight, but he didn't win it hard enough. He didn't do any damage, Like, Eel held, which was what he needed. Now, this follow-up attack, this is going to be scary. There's no balloon, and like you said, a lot of those Tier 1 got sold from Eel. That's kind of greedy. This Fox is not going to be out in time, and even if it is, it's going to be backed into a corner, and it's not going to really contribute that much. I think selling the Tier 1 Warrens might have been a mistake here. Let's see, as Parsival pushes in with a pretty strong army, can Eel hold on? So much skunk gas, though. Damn, that's a lot of gas. Wow.
Yeah, I think the skunk gas just in the choke point just is really killing Parsival here. But ooh, those pigeons really making a huge difference, allowing for additional tags just to keep him in the fight a bit more. But now that Fox is out, he's going to start chasing these things down. And you know what's even more unfortunate for Parsival is that he thinks he's maybe equal right now, or even higher than Eel at the moment. But Eel's got that secret base off to the 3 o'clock.
Yeah, well, we did get to see a Tier 3 tonight, and it was a Fox, so that's pretty cool.
In the final game, no less.
Yeah. Skunk going down here. But I think with the Fox, with the additional economy, this is looking bad for Parsival. Eel trying to be smart, let his units go back and heal. And since he's got that Fox, he doesn't have to hard commit. He can just sit here. Oh, but he's got to be careful of that snake. Oh, that snake wants it, but doesn't get it. With that snake slowing units down with the poison now. 1 tag, and that's it for the Fox. Ooh!
Oh, no.
Fox goes down.
Eel, why? That's huge. Now, but sort of the reverse lack of control on Parsival, losing all his Tier 2 on the front lines there. Sort of maybe Eel. No, Eel wanted his Fox to die to bring Parsival into a more comfortable position than he thought. Man, I wonder if Parsival's sitting back in his chair wondering, man, how is he getting all this money? Aren't we equal on economy? Isn't he less economy right now?
Yeah, that is the worst, man. I can think of a couple games. A match against Classic Metal comes to mind where I was just like flabbergasted. I'd be like, how does he have that many units? And then you look and I remember the specific one. He had 1 extra cabin on me. Like, it was that close, But a couple extra farms can make a huge difference. And Eel having 3 extra farms here, really helping with this reinforcement. And he bought another Fox.
Yeah, I know.
A lot of times you see players kind of sell off that Tier 3 Warren in situations like that, but no, Eel is determined to get a Fox win, which is nice. It's not something we see too often in the current meta of TnT. And it looks like he's going to get it.
Should be careful, though. All his units are just sitting
Oh,
in
9
the
HP.
smoke.
Yeah, you're right. They are getting low.
Ooh.
And Parsival should be able to reproduce quickly, but he doesn't have the money anymore. Now he's on top of the production. And the Fox.
Bringing the Fox right through these things.
Oh yeah, but he wants that juicy bacon, and he's gonna get it.
Yum.
That water healing. Okay, Parsival. Yeah, you nailed it, man. Parsival's so confused right now, I bet. That's why he's still in this game. He's like, how does he have that much money?
I wonder if he immediately went back to watch it or just came to his own realization.
Oh yeah, that's definitely one of those that you pop up the replay immediately.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. I think we're gonna call it. We wanted to do 2 hours. We got to 2 hours. Congratulations to Eel on that last win there. Let's take a quick look at the standing of the Pocket World map. And has it been updated? Yes, there it is. Wait. Did you do that right? I think I saw the, I think I saw green get some points there. Am I crazy? Hang on. I want to check that. I'm going to check the instant replay. But that is it, guys. Don't have a whole lot else to say. I guess the feast is on... Oh, Red flipped. I'm sorry. Yeah, okay. So Red got a territory off that. Thank you. So, yeah, I think the feast is on hold for now because there's just so much content to get through with this tournament. So I'll be focusing on that. And
Great problem to have.
Yeah, it is, man. You're always welcome to join me anytime you want, AV. It's always a blast having you on. And don't forget, guys, the Jed Erickson tournament is coming up later this month. It's going to be on custom maps. And I'm going to be casting that with Jet over on his channel. Please sign up for that. Let's get some more signups on that one. It's going to be custom maps. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I think that's it, man. That's all my announcements for the moment.
Fantastic.
Anything you want to add, Mr. Ultima?
Oh no, another great few casts out of the way. And man, looking forward to see the rest of this. Love these creative stuff.
Yes, sir. All right, guys, that is it. I see Strawberry streaming. Old school Tooth and Tail guy, so let's go say hi to him. Last night when I was rating it, it was weird, so hopefully it's fixed now. But you're all a bunch of beautiful nerds. Take care, everybody. Don't forget to check out Woody Punch 7 on Sunday. He's going to have episode 3. Let's go say hi to Strawberry, man. He's an old school Tooth and Tail veteran. So yeah, take care, guys.
See ya.